Sit maar julle. Ek wil net ook so 'n bietjie klank asseblief. Let us open the word at the Gospel of Luke, Luke 8, verse 26. You haven't got an English Bible, you can follow in Afrikaans, that's no problem. It's the same, it's just a different language. My dokter, ek kan sien jy hierdie praise and worship vir iets gesê. Ek het net so lekker gehad. Dit is lekker. It's nice to just open your heart before God. Let just everything come out. Jesus restored a demon-possessed man. Verse 26. They sailed to the region of Gazarenes, which is across the lake from Galilee. When Jesus stepped ashore, he was met by a demon-possessed man from the town. For a long time, this man had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but had lived in the tombs. You know, on the way from Galilee, they crossed the Sea of Galilee, and it's 7 miles or 13 kilometers wide, and a big storm hit the boat. And it put the spirit of fear into the disciples. But they had Jesus with them, but they feared, because they are human like me and you. And they woke up Jesus and said, Jesus, Son of God, wake up, we are going to drown, all of us. And Jesus said to them, haven't you learned anything? When will you start learning? Because if you can take the authority, you can tell the storm to stop, and it will stop. We have that authority in the name of Jesus Christ. So, when they got to the shore, they were a bit quiet, those disciples, because they just were shaken up by the storm. And then, this demon-possessed man came to meet them, naked, and shouting at the top of his voice. What a welcoming God. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell at his feet, shouting at the top of his voice, what do you want from me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Was it he that was shouting? Or was it the demons that possessed him that were shouting?
The demons.
Because he didn't know Jesus. But the demons knew him.
Yes.
Remember, Satan was one of the angels in heaven before he was cast out from heaven. And he took a third of the angels with him. So, these demons, they knew this was the Son of God. I beg of you, don't torture me. For Jesus had commanded the impure spirit to come out of the man. Many times it had seized him. And though he was chained, hand and foot, and kept underground, he had broken these chains and had been driven by the demon into solitary places. Daai demoon binne in hom, daai gees, het hom so sterk gemaak dat hy gave him the power to break the chains.
Amen. Wow.
And nobody could keep house with this man. They all cast him out. Go out. And he stayed within the tombs. Jesus asked him, what is your name? Very important if you want to do deliverance. Because if that spirit speaks to you, you want to know who he is, so you can take him on in his name. Legion, he replied, because many demons had come into him. And they, not he, they begged Jesus repeatedly not to order them to go into the abyss. Now, what is the abyss? The abyss is the underworld, die onderwêreld. Hulle het geweet wat wag vir hulle. They knew hell was prepared for them. They're going to be thrown into hell. And they asked Jesus, they begged him, please do not send us to the abyss. Now the name Legion, we must not confuse the name Legion with the legion of Roman soldiers, because there is about 5,000 to 6,000 men in a Roman legion. But legion is plenty. Legion is a lot. So we cannot say how many demons was inside this man. But there was plenty. There was plenty that harassed this man, that tortures this man. And he saw now that there's only one person that can release him from this. A large herd of pigs were feeding there on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and he gave them permission. You see, a demon is an unclean spirit. It cannot exist by itself. It must go into a human body, or like you see now, into an animal's body. It needs a body to go into.
Yes, that's true.
That's why they asked him, please, Lord, don't send us into the abyss, but send us into those pigs. And you know, Jesus is such a gentleman that he even gave them their wishes. He could have cast them directly into the abyss. But because they asked him, he said, go into the abyss. When the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs. And the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. Now, they drowned. So those demons didn't have a body to live in anymore. So they had to go and find somebody else, or just go into the drought, into the desert, into the water-ridden places. You know that Mary Magdalene, who followed Jesus, had 7 demons inside of her.
Yeah.
And Jesus cast them out.
Yeah.
But here was a legion of demons. And whenever they went into that herd of pigs, the pigs got such a fright that they ran away. Remember the old people used to say, don't ride that horse. That horse is demon possessed. Have you heard that? Watch out for that dog. That dog is demon possessed. Doesn't it make sense now? When those tending the pigs saw what had happened, they ran off and reported this to the town and countryside. And the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they found a man from whom the demons had come out, sitting at Jesus' feet, dressed and in his right mind. They were afraid. Why be afraid? Shouldn't they have rejoiced in what Jesus did to that man. He was a big problem for them. That's why they cast him out. And here he was sitting at Jesus' feet, and he was of a sound mind. Those who have seen, he told the people who the demon-possessed man had been cured. Then all of the people in the region of Gazarenes asked Jesus to leave them, because they had overcome with fear. So he got in the boat and he left. You know, Jesus did not kill those pigs. The demons did. They have come to destroy. They have come to kill. Pigs to the Jew is unclean. Did not have much value. But for the farmers, it was a huge economic loss. Why did Jesus not send them into the abbeys? Did he also have pity on them? We don't know. So, in the end, the man was healed from the legion of demons. And why didn't the people rejoice in that? Now they asked Jesus to leave them and go away. The man from whom the demons had gone out begged to go with Jesus. But Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return home and tell how much God has done for you." So the man went away and told all over the town how much Jesus has done for you. It was not only the farmer, the wealthy farmer who lost his pigs, all of them, that told Jesus to go. All of the town inhabitants told him, "Go, please go away from us." How very sad. I think they all could have been saved. And Jesus, again, was such a gentleman that he did what they asked him. Our Lord Jesus will never force himself upon you. It says in Revelation 3 that he comes to your door and he knocks. You must open it for him. He will never kick in that door. You must open it for him. You got the choice to let him into your heart. This is not true in our own lives. We see miracles every day. We see the sun come up in the morning in its position. It goes down at night in its position. The moon comes up at night. Sperm goes into a woman's womb and it creates a baby. That's a miracle. At the right time, the baby's heart starts to beat. At the right time, the woman gives birth to that baby. Every day, we see miracles. And we still don't believe. And Jesus keeps knocking. All we have to do is to open up for you. Say, "Come in, Jesus. Come into my heart." You know, many years ago, I was nearly like that wild man, that demon-possessed man. People told management of the mine, when I walk into the bar, the people walk out. That's the truth. But today I'm ashamed about it. But when Jesus came knocking, and it was very late in my life, I opened my heart to him. I said, "Jesus, come in. Come and save me from this horrible life because I was not living. I was dead. My marriage was about to go dead as well. So I took that decision. I said, here I am. Take me. Like Jeremiah when he went to the potter's house. Take me, form me as the pot you want. The pot you are satisfied with, and do it with me. Now this is out of my own words. I think that man, for the first time, he actually received love. He was sitting at Jesus' feet and he felt a comfort around him. That's why he didn't want to leave Jesus. He felt the comfort, he felt the love. Isn't that what we're all looking for? Even your little dog comes to you when you want to give him love. How could a man or a woman not want love? We all want love. And he felt secure there. And then, because of Jesus saving his life, he wanted to follow him. That's natural. That's natural. Jesus, take me with you, please. But Jesus said no. Jesus said to him, go back to your house and go tell what the Lord has done for you. So he was the first missionary sent out by Jesus to go and proclaim the kingdom of God. And to go and tell them and to testify what Jesus has done. Remember, they saw him going out the house as a madman, demon possessed. And he came back as a loving, caring, normal man of sound mind. So, but he said he didn't argue. And now this last piece I wrote for myself, I said, I think when he stood there, when Jesus climbed on the boat and they returned to Galilee, I think he stood there and he was waving to them as they left. And he was crying. Not tears because they hurt him. It was tears of joy that came out of his eyes because he was healed, he was saved. And for the first time in his life, I can't say how old he was, but for the first time in his life, he actually received love. And then he turned around and he walked away. Obedient, because Jesus said to him, go back to your place. Go and tell the people. Go and testify. Tell them what I have done for you. Now, in our lives, are we doing the same? Are we obedient? When God tells us to go, do we go? Love to another person can change everything. You know, I read a story about this mother in America, USA. She had a 15-year-old boy, and he was murdered on the street by a gangster, also 15 years old. That gangster murdered that kid just because he had to show how brave he was to his fellow gang members. Now I ask you with tears in my eyes, is that the reason to kill a human being? But to them, it was very important to show he's fearless. And he killed an innocent young man of 15 years old. And when he was in court, he stood there. His gang member never even came to support him in court. He stood alone there, and when the judge sent him to prison for 5 years, only 5 years, because he was a minor, and he walked out of that courtroom, and the mother was sitting there, and she stood up, and she looked him in the eyes, and she said to him, I'm going to kill you. Do we blame her? What would you do? But she told him, I'm going to kill you. And a year gone past, the kid was in the jail, and she went to visit him. She went, spoke to him. She gave him money for cigarettes. I won't do that, but she gave him money for cigarettes. I'd rather give him money for shoe shine or something. But she gave him money for cigarettes, and often she went to visit him. And when he was about to go out, she asked him, son, do you have a job that you can go to? He said, no. I'm in the streets. That's all I know. The gangs. That's all I know. To kill and to rob. That's all I know. And she said to him, you know what? I've got a friend that's got a small factory. And I will organize you a job there. Oh, he was very glad to hear that. When she came to visit him just before he was released, she asked him, let's name him John. She said to him, John, where are you going to stay when you go out? You've got a job. He says, I've got no place to stay. Where must I stay? I'm from the streets. We that got a family, we that got a house, we don't really know what these people are going through. I'll go back to the streets. He says, well, no, you know what? I've got a room, I've got an extra room. I don't have a son anymore, but you can come and stay there for free, till you are on your feet. What a woman. And one night, he started to work. That man really did his best. The factory manager was very impressed with him. Thank you. See, I only got 200 words. It's finished now. Very impressed with him. And he also told that woman he's very impressed with him. And that one night, she called him. They sat at the dinner table. And she said to him, John, can you remember what I said to you that day in the court? He said, yes, I will never forget that in my whole life. You said, I'm going to kill you. She said to him, you know what? I did. I killed the bad person inside of you, and the good person came out of you.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that an amazing story? But I think at that stage when she said that in the beginning, she actually meant it. But also God came into her life. By losing a son, she actually gained another son. He never had a mother. Eventually had a mother. What a lovely story. It just shows you what we can do to other people if we give them love. That's all they need. Just a bit of love. And they can go on forever. Let's continue at verse 14. Now when Jesus returned, the crowd welcomed him, as they were all expecting him. When a man named Jairus, a synagogue leader, was high up, came and fell at Jesus' feet, pleading with him to come to his house, because his only daughter, a girl of about 12, was dying. As Jesus was on his way, the crowd almost crushed him, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately the bleeding stopped. This woman was subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had went to many doctors to try and cure her, but they could not cure her. She could not even stop bleeding for 7 days. Because according to the Jewish law, the Nida, that was a woman on blood flowings, she had to stop for 7 days, continuous days, 7 continuous days, before she was considered clean by the priest. Now this woman, for 12 years, she didn't even stop for 7 consecutive days of bleeding. She was weak, but she knew, if I could only touch the cloak of Jesus Christ, I will be healed. And you know, she touched his cloak. And Jesus asked, verse 45, who touched me? Jesus asked. When they all denied it, Peter said, Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you. But Jesus said, somebody touched me. There's a beautiful, beautiful song that goes, somebody touched me. I know that power has come out of me. When the woman seeing what she could not go unnoticed, came trembling and fell at his feet. In the presence of all the people, she told why she had touched him and how she had been instantly healed. Then he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. If she stood back and waited for Jesus to notice her, she would have not been healed. But she came and she pressed through. Pressed through until she got through the crowd and touched Jesus' cloak. We cannot just sit and wait to be healed. I mean spiritually. We must press through. On our knees like that woman. I'm sure she went on her knees to get through the crowd. If she would have stayed on the outside, in the perimeter of the crowd, she would have not been healed. But she pressed through. And she was healed instantly when she touched the cloak of Jesus Christ. A lesson to all of us. Then, while Jesus was still speaking, someone came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. Your daughter is dead, he said. Don't bother the teacher anymore. He was also called the teacher. Because he teaches wherever he went. Hearing this, Jesus said to Jairus, don't be afraid, just believe, and she will be healed. Now, me as a father, if I get the news my child is dead, and somebody tells me, don't be afraid, just believe, the child is not dead. Yes, we all do believe. But is it strong enough to withstand that? But Jairus knew what Jesus has done all over the places he went. And Jairus believed. When they arrived at the house of Jairus, he did not let anyone go in without him, except Peter, John, James, and the child's father and mother. Meanwhile, all the people were wailing and mourning for her. Stop wailing, Jesus said. She's not dead, but asleep. They laughed at him, knowing that she was dead. But he took her by the hand and said, my child, get up. Her spirit returned, and at once she stood up. Then Jesus told them to give her something to eat. Her parents were astonished. But she ordered them not to tell anyone. But he ordered them not to tell anyone what happened. Why did Jesus want them to keep quiet? Because wherever he went, he stirred up a large amount of people. And the Romans didn't like that. So that's why he told them, be quiet about this. Now, what is the Great Commission? The Great Commission is what God put us on earth here to do. But we can't do what Jesus did. But in Jesus' name, we can do that. He gave us the full authority. In Jesus' name, He says, go and pray for people that are sick. Lay your hands on them. Go and wake up the dead. He gave us that command. And He said, go and make disciples of all people. That was the great commission that God gave us. In the name of Jesus Christ. Not on our own strength, but in the name and the authorization of Jesus Christ. Do we do that? Are we obedient like that man that got rid of all the demons inside of him? Are we obedient? Do we listen to what God says? My message today is we must tune in to what God says to us. We must listen and be obedient and do whatever He tells us to do. And give love. Love breaches all hatred. Give love to the people around you, and you will be blessed. Amen. Let us just pray together, please. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Thank you for this opportunity we have to just come and lift up your name. You don't need us. You can command the rocks and they will glorify your name. But you put us here on earth so we can glorify your name and say, holy, holy, holy. And you are our Father. Thank you very much for this opportunity we had here tonight. Let this Sunday nights grow into a lot of people that will attend, because we are obedient, because you said, go and make disciples for people. Thank you very much for that. All praise goes to you. Amen.
Prys die Here.